Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am your host and John Wayne of The Whole Tone, Ken Levine. I'm a singer and vocal coach here on YouTube, and today we've got something special, something different. This is a request from David. David contacted me via my Wisio page. He's an aspiring singer and has posted a video to YouTube that he would like me to personally critique and give an honest reaction to, which I think is incredibly brave. So round of applause to David. David, with your permission, if that's okay, I'd like to post this to my broader community because I think it might be really valuable for them. And if not, that's totally cool too. I respect your decision either way. So David, if it's okay with you, I'd just like to read out what you had sent me. David is an amateur singer that grew up in theater and later got interested in metal music. I've never been coached, and people I know tell me I'm good, but it would be nice to have an honest reaction from someone that isn't looking at it through the lens of supporting a friend. As for the audio, it's not tuned or anything, just doubled and layered with harmonies and screams. There's some EQ, but I try to represent my live vocals as closely as possible. I think that's very noble and admirable. Gives the link, and then love the reaction channel. By the way, I appreciate the professional nature of the lack of overreaction rather, just for an appeal is nice. So yeah, thank you very much for that kind compliment. Okay, David, I've got your video loaded up here, so we're just going to get this started. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. This is David. That's not David. That is TesseracT. You died within me. The boat that came to sail me down the river, blind me up with visions of a blind man. I operate this way. Turn nothing into gold. Such an ugly day. Great. Okay. So first off the bat, wonderful. You're singing beautifully in tune, though. The audio as it's filtered through my setup here, sometimes it diminishes the impact of the vocal. So that sometimes it doesn't come through as strongly as it should. That's a technical issue that I need to sort out. What I can tell you is that obviously right off the bat, you've got 3 different vocal techniques that I've already just witnessed. You've got your beautiful chest voice, lovely in tune, moving in through a supported head voice, which sounds really quite pleasant. And then flipping up to your falsetto easily and effortlessly. And then I detect there was some overlay. As you had mentioned, those overlapping screams or overlapping screams mixed in and layered into, that's the word I was looking for, layered. Yes. Onions and ogres have layers. Okay, it's layered in there, which of course, we can all detect and hear as sort of an extra added heightened effect for just the emotional punch that you're going for. I want to hear more before I offer any thoughts, any more thoughts rather, on what else is going on. You died like a king on top of the world. There's that falsetto. That is an interesting guitar. 7 strings. Fantastic. Is that like an extra bass note on layer below, or some extra high notes there. Wonderful effects. I don't know who's playing the guitar. It's not David. Is it David? No, it doesn't look like you. David is the lead singer in the vocal booth doing his thing. Yeah. Okay, great. I just wanted to point that out. That I noticed that. That's a clever detail. I'm not sure what kind of make or manufacturer. Maybe that's a custom guitar. Really cool.
And now revenge against that grudge inside your tiny head.
Nice sustain on those long notes. I'm hearing a hint of vibrato. That's really good.
Remove the crown of absolution. Let the retribution fly. The king has all. But boys can kill and maim and take their toll. And you massacre my dreams at night and eat away at every thought.
Interesting. I just want to back up here. So I'm noticing some just in really good intuition on your part as a singer of how to manage some of the challenges within this song as you're going through that tricky part of every singer's range. I hear a lovely tenor in your voice. That's where your voice seems to like to sit. And of course, tenors really need to know what they're about as they're constantly traversing the break or the passaggio in the voice. And I could hear or more feel than hear the increase in the dome at the back of the throat. We talk about structures in singing, and I'm going to go through how I like to conceptualize the overarching structure of singing to beginning singers and to professionals alike. It helps to just sort of organize how we think of things. The base layer, the foundation of everything is our posture. Posture is actually more than just standing up straight. It's much more nuanced than that, or there's more to it than just the stance that you take and how you stand. There's a lot to that, unpacking that. So that's the baseline. Then, of course, breathing, breath technique. And then above that, I would layer in phonation, the actual coming together of the vocal folds to create the sound. And then above that, the most finicky and nuanced is the creation of resonance, your tone, your timbre, your placement, and articulation, all of those things. And I would say that right now, one of the things that you are playing with, because I feel that you have mastered a great deal to do with your breathing and your phonation. What you're playing with now is that tone, timbre, resonance, placement thing that singers need to really wrestle with, and it takes a great deal of effort and energy to try and fine-tune that, because none of it is really intuitive. You really have to start playing with opening up your soft palate to allow more space for those resonant frequencies to grow, and then of course manipulating the length of your vocal tract by raising and lowering and tilting your larynx and all these sorts of different things that is really tough to see. And without a proper guide, it can be difficult to manage on your own. You have done remarkably well. If you've never had any coachings, your natural ability and I guess good ear have gotten you to this point, which is really exciting. More to talk about that. I didn't want this little interruption to be as long as it was. More to say.
Until it's
great screams. I applaud all of those absolutely fearless vocalist metal singers who are really mining what the voice can do in these extended vocal techniques. It's not something that I personally have utilized throughout my vocal career. It's not generally where my voice likes to sit. That's not to say that I don't respect and admire the vocalists who do that. It is a particular skill that takes time to acquire. I know that much. I am looking to acquire that particular skill for myself because it's one of those nuts that I have yet to crack. And so good on you, David. Well done. It's not a custom guitar. Ibanez. Ibanez. I guess that's how you pronounce that. I'm not sure. No doubt someone, if people are watching this, are going to correct me down in the comments below. Please leave your comments. Always love to hear from everyone that is joining in on the channel and watching what it is that we're doing here every week on the channel. So, yeah, sorry, that was a bit of an aside.
Until it's safe to leave and coexist They're taking away the freedom to be just.
Nicely done. Yeah. Effortlessly going through the head voice and into your falsetto with a nice, it seems like an appropriate amount of that airy tone that you're going for. Nicely done.
They're taking away the freedom to be just you. They're taking away the freedom to be just you.
Okay, so everyone else who's watching, I just want you to look at the expression on David's face here as he's going through this very sensitive part of the song that demands a very careful attention. It's very exposed. There's not much going on underneath the vocal. So the precision with which he's attacking all of these phrases and making sure that they're the right notes at the right time with the right words, and really going for a very specific timbre, a very specific tone. Watch how he closes his eyes. Now, I liken that to, now, just sort of, and let me back up and say, obviously this is a performance for camera, and when we record things, we usually have headphones and perfect acoustical environments, and we do things a little bit differently, but regardless, this notion, I believe, is probably practiced and ingrained to try and go inward with your mind's eye and really focus in on what it is that you're doing, how it is that you're creating that tone, the space that you need to be in, the depth of your breath apparatus, the actual coming together of the vocal folds. This is a really, really good and powerful practice to begin to start to take inward that journey, to visualize what is happening within your vocal tract. It's something that we want to bring to our practice so that we're always trying to focus in on, okay, what is happening there? And be as precise as you can to try and visualize, okay, is my soft palate raised? And now, not to tie yourself up in knots, but so that you can repeat it afterwards when you've practiced it, so you know exactly where the voice needs to be. You know exactly where your breathing apparatus needs to be, what your posture needs to be, that the stance that you take. All of these things are great tools for you to harness as you move through this wonderful world of singing and how to create these tones. So well done, David. Yeah, I just know what you're doing there. Thing here. All right, look at that. Okay, so David, great work. Just all around great work. Solid effort. Good singing all around. One of the things that I always like to say is that we're not focusing on outcomes. We're focusing on process, and we're looking at the process to create great outcomes. And I think that you have taken all the steps all the steps that you know how to produce the tones that you feel are correct and right where they need to be. One of the things that I always like to point out to beginning students, and why would you know this unless you've had some coaching? Why would you know this unless you've done a tremendous amount of research or had taken vocal lessons? You wouldn't know some of the little tips and tricks that can help to add to your toolbox of efficiencies to make things move faster, more smoothly, spend less time in the recording studio, spend more time making great music and practicing efficiently. When I see what you're doing right there, and it's not the expression on your face, but it's actually the position of your tongue. You can see how your tongue is sort of balled up in the back of your throat, and that is standard when you're on an A vowel or an E vowel to sort of spread everything out to try and create the overtones that give that particular vowel its signature. However, as you progress, you will want to do that less and less because it becomes a bit of a crutch. This this bite, ha, eh. If you can, start to visualize the tip of your tongue being closer to your bottom teeth. This is important because it affects the last little layer of nuance that you can add to the sparkle of your voice, the fine-tuning of your embouchure and the position of your tongue does add it heightens everything. It heightens your pitch. It heightens the resonant frequencies that we as listeners can really focus in on and say, yes, that not only is in tune, but it's alive. The tone is alive. It's not a question of power. It's just a question of just a slight adjustment. Many of these habits are going to be familiar to you, and that familiarity will be difficult to sort of rethink and revisualize, but that's okay. What you're doing is fine. I'm just sort of wanting to add onto that and say, one little layer that you could do, should you choose, will give it that little lift. Yeah, well done, you two. Good job, gentlemen. Yeah, we'll leave it there with the audio. David, fantastic. Solid effort. Your voice. I'm excited for you because what I hear when I'm listening to you perform is a voice that's just on the cusp of, or rather, you're just scratching the surface of what will eventually become a truly rich and exciting instrument. You're doing a lot of things really, really well. If I can just put on my coach hat again and just say, what I would draw your attention to is the tension that I'm sensing that is happening within your vocal tract. Now, some moderate amounts of tension are necessary to achieve specific tones and effects on your voice. That's totally fine. But what we try to do is eliminate as much tension as we can when it's not necessary. And because I don't want to be dramatic about it, but it is going to sound dramatic. Tension will kill your voice and will kill your progress. And you really just need to be aware of it. And that is that foundational piece that I mentioned earlier, posture. Posture is just not about standing up straight. It's a mindset. It's a mindset of removing the tension that will get in the way of you producing your best work. And right now, I don't perceive it as being necessarily a problem, but as you encounter more complexity within the singing and as you bump up against some of the challenges that will befall you're going to have to deal with tension in a more direct and foundational way. And that is something that a coach could help you with. Not saying that you have to go into lessons with me or anyone else, because what you're doing I think is fine. But as you run into those challenges, great. Because I think those challenges will be where you begin to really start to uncover all of these extra layers on your voice, all these extra sounds, these nuances, these overtones that you have that have yet to be developed to their maximum capacity. And so like I said, I am excited for you because this is you're on a journey, man, and you're doing everything right. Continue on with what you're doing and explore some of these other aspects. Oh my God, who's calling me? I'm sorry, David. Hang on. We're going to have to edit that. Hang on. Okay, that was an important call telling me to wrap this up. I just wanted to, again, congratulate you, David, on all of the hard work that you have been putting into this. And you are sounding good. Your friends are not pulling the wool over your eyes. And I just would like to say that you are, again, on the cusp of a fantastic journey. Continue on. I urge everyone, and I do this too, I consult vocal coaches as well when just to bounce ideas off of and to try and figure out if I'm bumping up against a challenge that I can't quite manage on my own. Sometimes having a different perspective on things can be really, really helpful. So I encourage you to find someone, maybe there's someone living in your neighborhood that is a talented vocal coach, someone that you trust. You can certainly reach out to people in YouTube land. There's lots of us vocal coaches to choose from. It sounds to me like you're sort of the kind of style that you have requires a dynamic approach, one that's more rooted in sort of the traditional, as well as these extended vocal techniques that metal vocalists are so renowned for. So I just would put that out to you. Please send me your comments if this is going out to the wider community. Let me know what do you think? And we'll leave it there if you have made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.